Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Faith Journey. I'm really grateful that you are here today, whether you are on a walk or in your car. I'm actually quite curious, I wonder what you're doing. Maybe you're listening whilst you're doing chores, or maybe you're just pausing, maybe you're just like in a moment of stillness. I'm so grateful that you are listening and that I am speaking into your ears right now. I hope that you can feel like this is a conversation, like if you were literally just in front of me. I haven't actually introduced myself. I'm Camilla. I really fail to do this so often. Like, you would be surprised at how many times I just forget to introduce myself, which is not particularly important, but still. My name is Camilla and I am the host of this podcast, and I am just on this journey of documenting my faith and how God is moving in my life, and just sharing really, and just creating spaces for discussions and for just authenticity and for breaking down maybe some of the barriers that I feel like there are sometimes around spirituality, around the person of Jesus perhaps. Wherever you are on this journey. Oh, there's a mosquito. Well, that's going to be fun. Anyway, wherever you are on this journey, I just want to say I appreciate you. You're so welcome here. Whether you follow Jesus in your life, maybe you don't, maybe you're curious, whatever that might be. These conversations are literally open to anyone. I'm filming later than usual. It is currently 7:15 p.m. for me right now. And I am not an evening gal. I am very much a morning person, and yeah, that's when I have the most energy. And so I've just come back home, but I just felt like switching things up a little bit. I don't know how this will go. Maybe it'll be a longer episode, maybe it'll be a shorter one, I really don't know. I also haven't really put down many bullet points as I usually do, so this might become a little bit rogue, I don't know. The reason why I'm recording today rather than during the weekend, which is usually when I have the time and the space to actually do that, it's because last weekend I just didn't feel like I had anything to contribute. And I don't ever want to come here and speak when I don't feel called to at all. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a pause, and I was just praying, and just being like, okay, what is it that I should be talking into? If you've literally clicked on this, you probably know the title, which I actually don't know right now. I don't even know what the title will be. So you are ahead of me on that one. I don't know how this episode will go. So I'm just going to be having a chit chat, literally as if you are just in the room with me and I'm just telling you about what has been going on, and we're just checking in with each other. This last month has been such a beautiful month, but at the same time quite a hard month. The last couple of weeks in particular, they've just been full of juxtapositions of really joyful moments, but also kind of harder ones at the same time, or right next to each other. And that has been very interesting to navigate. I've had a few months where I just felt so on top of the world. You know those months where you're like, yes, I feel so energized, I feel so positive and so joy-filled. Thank God for that, It's so beautiful. When you have those periods like that, they come like a breath of fresh air, at least for me. The last couple of weeks, they've just, days felt light sometimes and joyful, and then the next day very heavy and very uncertain. There's been a few things going on in my life, my health in particular. Essentially, some days it just felt like things were sort of flowing really beautifully. Other days felt like I was walking through, fog, and my head wasn't a particularly nice place to be in, and neither was my body, really. It's currently June, and last week was my birthday. It was such a nice day. I had such a good day. My birthday was on a Tuesday, and so I took a random Tuesday off and I just had the whole day to just, be slow and be in worship. Honestly, I was worshiping so often and just, it felt like I was in like a long day state of like gratefulness and thankfulness and just like praising God literally for the place that I'm at, even when things aren't, all incredible all the time, and there's still hardship or like ongoing struggles in some areas. It was a day filled with like me doing the things that, fuel me the most, and spending time with God for longer, because I had the time to. And I then went for dinner with some friends, which was so nice. And yeah, those moments when you stop and you look back and it's like, wow, I'm so grateful, for where I'm at. Especially because I think my birthday last year was probably the worst birthday that I've ever experienced. I just felt so lonely, honestly. I felt really lonely, and I was quite lonely. I remember I've always loved my birthday, I've always been someone that, yeah, like has really enjoyed the day of their birthdays. Like I'm not someone that's like, oh, I don't really like it, like don't like to celebrate. No, I love it. Like it's just so fun, and it's always been that way. And so last year was really challenging because I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like being around people. I was really really in like the midst of a lot of struggles still. And at that point, I didn't know Jesus. I was still really much in the thick of like, my journey to Jesus, if that makes sense. I had like people around me, but I just felt so lonely because no one really knew what I was going through or like the extent of, some of the things that I was facing. I just remember like going to bed, being really sick as well, and just, yeah, being like, I just want this day to be over. And so the fact that this year it was quite the opposite, and I had, so much gratitude, and just, I do this thing where every year I write myself a letter from myself to myself, and this year it was really really powerful, and it really felt like someone was actually reading it to me. I don't know, there was something about that. So in any case, it was a beautiful day. I see the difference, that the presence of God in my life has made, even if things aren't still perfect, right? And I'm still going through things. The week before and the rest of the week, there were moments where, yeah, my health wasn't great and I'm going through some things and my mental health just takes a toll because of it. And I'm still navigating, how to deal with that, how to bring that to the Lord, how to journey with it, and to journey with like the duality of what it means to live life, and to have moments of highs and joys and just so much beauty and gratefulness, and then to feel not like that, and to have moments of pain and moments of sadness and of fear. That got me quite confused. I live with a chronic condition, and if you do as well, you know what that sort of means. And maybe at some point I'll share more about this and make an episode about how God has been walking me through this season. It comes in waves. Like chronic conditions mean that they come in waves. Some weeks I feel really strong, like super energized, and really great, and then other times I just feel really depleted. My pain really flares up, fatigue then kind of sets in, and all of that just takes a toll. Takes a toll, not just physically of course, but also mentally and emotionally too. And so there were days this month when I just felt so tired, and so tired as well of like the unpredictability of like, am I going to feel okay tomorrow, or do I need to plan to come back home earlier, or whatever it is. And it's a very slippery slope because you start, sometimes to get anxiety out of it, or I then start to just become so in control of things and want to control every single day rather than like fully surrender all of it to God. And so, as I said, it's an ongoing journey. I don't want to come across as complaining. because I'm really so grateful for everything that's good in my life. I'm so grateful for the way God is like in it, how now I've been, struggling with this for a couple of years now, and I didn't have God before to run to and to bring all of this to. And as I said, I'm still learning how to do that, but I'm just so grateful that I don't do it alone. Like if you are facing some sort of a struggle like this, whether it's physical or mental, or emotional, whatever it might be, and I've touched upon this before, but you really are not alone. Like you're really not alone, and it just makes the world of difference. It really does. Maybe not in like necessarily, I guess, in your physical circumstances, but just in the way that you're able to have this strength that doesn't come from you, that is given to you, in the way that you're able to move because of his love, and because of the way he just gets close to you in those moments. It's just the best thing ever. And I just love Jesus for that so much. So the other day I came back home. I had quite a hard day, wasn't feeling great. I was getting ready for bed. And then literally as I was taking my earrings off, just something clicked. Jesus's love is constant, God is the source of stability, always. And I just almost felt this thing in like this phrase of like, you were designed to need me. And suddenly it then really clicked. Like we go to God in every moment. That's why we go to God in every moment. I was praising God on the day of my birthday, being like, coming to you, Lord, because you're so good and you've blessed me with so much, and I can't but thank you. And I go to him when I need his presence, when I really need his closeness in those moments of hardship, because he always remains the same. Like we might go through periods of ups and downs. The picture that came into my mind when I had this thought come up was, roller coasters, like they go up and then down and then up and then down. God is like above even the high, like he's just above everything. And he's like at the very beginning of the roller coaster, and he's at the very end of the roller coaster. Like he's the alpha and the omega, which means that he's, the beginning and the end. And he's just above everything. He's bigger than everything. He's bigger than the challenges. He's bigger than, the moments of joy. He's constant. It's like we're going up and down, but he's like steady. He's just steady. I hope this is making sense. I don't know. But that was the picture that I just saw in my mind. It was a moment where I was like, okay, I understand now. Like, I really understand now, not in my head, but in my heart, what that means and why I need to come to you every single time, whether, I'm in my joys and moments of highs, or whether I'm in my lows and in my moments of pain. It literally was like some sort of light went off in my head, and in that moment it's not like God was dismissing my like weariness or like any of the pain that I felt, or like any of those moments. He was just showing me, like you're tired because you keep trying to anchor yourself in just things that move all the time. I was just reminded of Psalm 18 verse 2 that says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God is my rock in whom I take refuge." And that's what it means. It means that we go to him because he's our rock. He's the foundations. He's so solid that none of it can shake him. That's why I aim for every single part of my life to be built on his love and to be built on his will and what he wants for me. It also means that I'm not placing my trust in anything that the world can offer, like not in beauty. I'm not placing my trust and my foundations on my success, on like how well I'm doing at work, on my emotions, on how great I feel in my head, or how great I feel in my body, and how healthy I feel. None of that, because those things are bound to change. And instead, I live my life with the understanding, with the knowledge, with the direction of God being the ultimate firmness, the ultimate like straight line on which you can just hold on to at any time, and just, the one thing that doesn't change, that never changes, that is so stable and so close to you. And yeah, this psalm really like settled something deep, I think, in me, which is why ultimately I was like, okay, I'm just going to come here and talk about this, and talk about what's literally going on as we speak. Whether it's the joyful moments like my birthday, or whether it's those more kind of difficult days of sickness maybe, just how he's in both, like he sees me in both moments, and he sees you, whatever you're kind of going through, in the highs and in the lows. He's right there with us, and that is just so beautiful. And he's there even if we forget that he is. We shouldn't forget, but we can gently ask to be reminded of that. But at the same time, that's why we want to like read the Bible, why we want to like seek his face, which means, just seek his presence, be in the presence of God, cultivating moments of stillness. Yeah, just moments with God, whether it's like at church, with your church community, with your friends, or, at home in your living room, just, I don't know, being in his presence, maybe putting on some worship music, reading, whatever it might be for you. The more we do that, the more we're building our life on him, and the more whatever moment in that roller coaster we're at, we can realize that his word never changes. His promises in the Bible never change, and neither does, the level of his love and his love for us. That's what holding on to him really means. It means like realizing that he's at the beginning, he's at the end, he's firm, he's secure, he's unshakable, and just he's so much greater. He's so much greater and bigger than all of it. Like he's so much greater than the most difficult thing that you might ever go through, and he's so much greater than the most beautiful thing that you may experience. But he sees you in every single moment, and he is so willing, and not even willing, but actively being with you in those moments. It's just a matter of opening our eyes, and of opening our hearts, and of realizing that he's just right there. And sometimes I personally forget, and I think the last couple of weeks maybe it was a little bit harder for me, and that's why I then had that realization. And after that, it's just been really, really going even deeper into all the things that I just mentioned. And I think sometimes we like expect faith maybe to like fix things, and like coming to faith to kind of fix things. I feel like I didn't really have that. Like when I gave my life to Jesus, I wasn't expecting like, okay, I'm praying this prayer and I'm opening myself up, and tomorrow I'll be fully healed. And I don't know, like maybe that was wrong of me. I'm not sure. I don't know what to say about that, but that was just my experience. I think that can happen, and like that's so beautiful if someone starts with that level of faith. But I just knew, I honestly just didn't even think about it. But it's almost like, I think sometimes it's like if we believe in him hard enough, like if we get this control, then, the hard days just won't come anymore, and everything will be so much easier. And I said it, I think, in my testimony, that it's not like, for me, that wasn't my experience. Like the moment I came to Christ, it wasn't like everything healed just in one day. There were parts of me that changed and started to do like the most transformational healing that I've ever experienced in my life. But it wasn't like a super, super instant thing. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is just that I'm learning that through both the joys and the pains, faith like doesn't kind of just erase, these waves. The main realization was that what faith has given me, what Jesus is giving me, is a place to really stand on, and a place to go to when those waves hit you. When you're going up the roller coaster and when you're going down the roller coaster, just knowing that I can be so rooted in Christ. And that's literally like one of my main prayers always, I think, of like, I just want to act and I want to live life, whatever that day will bring, just rooted in the truth, just rooted in his peace, in his love, in the fact that even if I feel pain, he's with me, and just praying with that, praying for healing over myself, with that level of faith. Real faith, I think, is knowing who to run to and who you are running to, both in the moments of joy and the moments of suffering. When things are good, like I felt on that birthday on Tuesday, I ran to God with so much gratitude in my heart. And I really let my joy push me towards him in deeper worship, not away and okay, I don't need you anymore. Thank you, Lord. Thanks a lot. Now I'm not even going to say, thanks or I don't need you anymore. That shouldn't be the attitude. It should be the attitude of, I think at least, of just praise and of worship and of gratitude for all the beautiful things that are already in your life, the small things, the bigger things, all of them. There's a Psalm 107, verse 1, that says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever." And it's such a beautiful one of such a good reminder of, of just always praising him. And equally, when things are hard, I guess the invitation for you and for me as well, such a good reminder, is to just not numb ourselves out. Let's not try and numb ourselves out and pretend like we're not going through it and maybe isolating. I know that's something that I tend to do. It's a default way of coping, of isolating myself, of putting my guards up. My invitation, again, for the both of us is just to not give up. And instead to run to God, run to the rock, right? And just hang on, just cling on to it, and let yourself be loved. You let him heal you, and you let him love you, and you let Jesus do what he does best. I was reminded then on the tube, this has been such a, just the way of these verses coming up, or just the things that I hear, has been all throughout the different days and the most random moments, literally as I was getting ready for bed, or when I'm on the tube surrounded by so many people. And the verse that I was reminded of was Matthew 11:28, which is, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This verse has been one of the first verses in the Bible that I've ever read, but also that really ever stood out to me in such a powerful way, in a way where I really felt like God was speaking to me when I first started reading the Bible, because I just felt so broken, and I felt like I had no one that I, could go to, and without feeling like maybe I would be not seen or not understood. Life is made up of season, and we all go through cycles of joy, of pain, of clarity, of confusion, of abundance, and of dryness. And God, he doesn't promise that we'll always stay in the up moments. He doesn't promise that we'll always be in, only the beautiful moments and nothing else. But what he does promise is that he remains the same every single time, in every single season of our lives. He's literally saying, this is Jesus talking, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It's let's run to him. Let's run to him. Let's run to the rock, let's run to the one who gives us, new water, and who just loves us and restores us. I used to think that spiritual strength which is a concept that I'm really intrigued by, that was about kind of learning how to maybe avoid the harder seasons. I thought that's what I would have to aim to, right? Okay, let's aim not to have hard seasons. But I'm really learning, and I've learned in the past couple of months, that real maturity, I think, is just knowing, as I said, who you go to in every season and where your strength comes from in those moments. I just have another verse in my head right now. Philippians 4, verse 13. "I can do all things through him who gives me strength." another beautiful verse that I literally have in my notes on my phone and on my laptop. And it's one of those that every day I remind myself of, okay, whatever I'm facing, I can do it not in my own strength, but in the strength of the one who sustains me. Celebrate with him, recognize that all of it is his grace and his love for us. And when the days are hard, equally, when you feel sick, maybe you feel alone, you feel confused, maybe you're scared, run to him, cry with him, let him be the place that you can rest in. I think it's important as well in those moments to understand that we go to him because we need him. That's why, not because it makes us a good person or whatever. We go to him because we need him. We need him. And because he's the only thing that just won't fall apart when we do. And that's the theme of this whole journey and this whole, I think, faith journey as a whole. It really links well to, I think, even this podcast as a whole, I'm so excited to see what it is that I will get to document, for how long this will go on. I don't know. I hope, God has great plans for these conversations and for this podcast. And I hope that it's been reaching the right people, the people who really need to hear this. I just pray that God, really brings these episodes to the people that just need the most, even if it's literally just one person. That's fantastic. And that's all I want, really. He was the one that was there when I didn't know him and when I felt really alone at my birthday last year. Even though, yes, I didn't know him, he was still there. And he's the one who's here now, right with you as well. And I hope he's speaking to you, to your soul, through my words right now. And it's a type of love that and a type of presence that I just never could have imagined a year ago. Never, never, ever. In a million years would I have said that I literally would have been sitting, here talking about Jesus. Never in a million years. That will always blow my mind, I think, forever and ever. He's the one who holds me and who holds my body when things feel so great and when my body feels so strong, but he's equally the one who's holding me when it feels like my body is literally fighting me for whatever reason. He doesn't just know every season that we're in. I really believe that he's in every season, and he's really offering to walk, us through them. That's what it means to hold on to him, to know that your anchor, what you are rooted in, it doesn't move, that he's above it all, and that is exactly why we can trust him. He's a very solid rock, we're told in the Bible. So anyway, I think that's what the last couple of weeks have been teaching me, what God has been revealing to me, what he's been walking me through. And yeah, I hope I haven't been too all over the place. And I really genuinely hope that you felt encouraged by this. And that whether you are in a beautiful season, which I really hope so, I really hope you're walking through amazing days of so much joy, of so much peace, of so much happiness and just beauty in your life. Equally, if you are walking through harder seasons and challenges in your life, I just hope that you felt encouraged by this, encouraged to go and spend time. Maybe after you pause this episode, go and spend time with God, with Jesus, because he's waiting and he always is, and he always just welcomes us in every moment. If there's anything from this that resonated with you, or if there's, any reflections, I would generally love to hear any reflections that you might have. You can comment them on YouTube. If you're watching the video on YouTube, you can comment on the Spotify episodes, but you can also just send me a message. If you are just listening on Apple Podcasts, you can follow the Instagram and just DM me there. I would love to hear from you and to connect with you. Thank you so much for joining me. A reminder that God is our constant, he is our rock, and he is not going anywhere. Sending you so much love and so much warmth, and I will see you very soon right back here on The Faith Journey. Bye.